She was fierce, funny, and unforgettable. Now the world says goodbye to Kim Woodburn. Kim Woodburn was more than a television personality. She was a cultural icon who turned everyday cleaning into a primetime spectacle. She captured hearts, stirred controversy, and never held back what she really thought. Today we look back at her incredible life, from a troubled childhood to household fame, and finally her peaceful passing at the age of 83. Born in East New Hampshire in 1942, Kim's early life was anything but glamorous. Raised in a deeply troubled home, she often spoke about the emotional and physical abuse she suffered at the hands of her parents. It wasn't a past she ever hid. Instead, she used it as fuel to build something greater, something that would define her as a survivor. Her childhood was marked by neglect, violence, and a crushing sense of abandonment that would stay with her throughout her life. The scars ran deep. Kim frequently recounted how her mother would lock her in cupboards for hours, leaving her in darkness and terror. Her father was equally cruel, using both words and fists to break down a young girl who was already fighting just to survive each day. School offered little refuge. She was often sent to class bruised and hungry, carrying the weight of secrets no child should bear. At the age of just 16, she left home, alone and unsure, and moved to Liverpool, a city that would later play a major role in her personal history. This wasn't a choice born of adventure or opportunity. It was an act of desperation, a teenager's last resort to escape a situation that had become unbearable. She arrived in Liverpool with little more than the clothes on her back and a fierce determination to create something better for herself. In those early years, she worked as a live-in cleaner. It wasn't glamorous work, but it was honest. She never saw herself as a victim. She pushed through each day with grit, learning not just how to clean, but how to cope. She became good at both, and it was those skills, cleaning and coping, that would one day launch her into the spotlight. During her time in Liverpool, Kim experienced some of the most profound losses of her life. She became pregnant and gave birth to a son, but tragedy struck when the baby died at just 6 months old. Alone, heartbroken and with nowhere to turn, she made the devastating decision to bury her child in a local park. It was a secret she carried for decades, a wound that never fully healed. This loss, combined with her already traumatic childhood, could have broken anyone. Instead, it seemed to forge Kim's steel-like determination to never be powerless again. She worked in various cleaning jobs, perfecting techniques that would later make her famous. But more importantly, she was learning how to read people, how to communicate with authority and compassion, and how to turn cleaning, often seen as menial work, into something that mattered. She understood that a clean home wasn't just about appearances, it was about dignity, self-respect, and taking control of one's life. Kim's big break came in 2003, when Channel 4 producers were casting for a new kind of lifestyle program, one that made household hygiene entertaining. That show became How Clean Is Your House, and Kim was paired with Scottish journalist and presenter Aggie Mackenzie. The chemistry was instant, even if a little explosive. Together they were unstoppable. The show wasn't just about scrubbing toilets and wiping down greasy counters. It was about confronting the people who had let their homes fall into filth and chaos and helping them get their lives back on track. Kim wasn't afraid to call it like she saw it. She'd point to a pile of rubbish and say, "That's disgusting, dear." But somehow she did it with charm and wit. She scolded with a smile, and that's what made her stand out. Her signature style, a pair of rubber gloves, a tight bun, and a glare that could cut glass. Viewers tuned in not just for cleaning tips, but for her one-liners, her dramatic reactions, and the way she held people accountable, while still offering them kindness. She became a household name overnight. The show ran for 6 years, from 2003 to 2009, and made her a legend in British pop culture. What many viewers didn't realize was how personally invested Kim became in each family's story. Behind the cameras, she would often spend extra time with the homeowners, offering advice that went far beyond cleaning. She recognized the signs of depression, trauma, and overwhelm because she had lived through them herself. Her tough love approach wasn't just television gold, it was genuine care wrapped in practical wisdom. But Kim wasn't finished. Not by a long shot. In 2009, she joined the cast of I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, and took on the Australian jungle with the same no-nonsense energy she brought to dirty kitchens. She wasn't afraid of creepy crawlies or her fellow contestants. She finished second, proving once again that the British public couldn't get enough of her. Her time in the jungle revealed different facets of her personality, her vulnerability, her loyalty to friends, and her surprising gentleness when comforting others during their low moments. Then came the show that turned her from beloved TV star to full-blown meme queen, Celebrity Big Brother. It was 2017, and Kim was ready to stir the pot. She walked into the Big Brother house like a storm, calling out bullying, standing her ground and refusing to back down. Her fiery confrontations with other contestants became instant internet sensations. Whether you agreed with her or not, you couldn't look away. Her most famous moments from the show included her explosive arguments and her memorable catchphrases that became viral gold. "You're a two-faced cow" became the battle cry of a generation, quoted endlessly on social media and turned into countless memes. But beneath the drama was a woman who genuinely couldn't stand injustice and would fight tooth and nail for what she believed was right. One of her most talked about feuds came years later, when she appeared on ITV's Loose Women to settle a long-standing argument with Colleen Nolan, another Big Brother contestant. The segment didn't go as planned. Instead of healing old wounds, it ended in tears and thousands of viewer complaints. Kim broke down on live TV, recalling the trauma of her childhood. It was a moment that shocked the public and reminded everyone that behind the tough exterior was someone who had survived a lot of pain. The incident sparked a national conversation about bullying, trauma, and the way society treats people who refuse to conform to expectations of how victims should behave. Kim's breakdown wasn't just television drama, it was a raw, honest moment that showed her humanity in a way that many found both heartbreaking and inspiring. She never pretended to be perfect. In fact, Kim was very open about her past. In her 2007 autobiography, Unbeaten, she wrote about growing up in an abusive home, being sent to a cruel boarding school run by nuns, and even losing her baby at 6 months while living alone in Liverpool. She buried the child in a park, too ashamed and heartbroken to tell anyone. That trauma stayed with her for life, and she often said that the pain never fully left her. The book revealed the full extent of her suffering, but also her remarkable resilience. She wrote about finding strength in the darkest moments, about learning to trust again, and about the long journey toward healing. Critics praised her honesty, noting that she never romanticized her struggles or presented herself as anything other than a flawed human being who had fought to survive. Despite everything, she built a life of love and stability with her husband Peter, whom she married in 1979. They lived quietly in Nantwich, Cheshire. Though she thrived in the spotlight, Kim always made it clear that Peter was her anchor. He stayed by her side through the ups and downs of fame, providing the steady love and support she had never known as a child. Their marriage was a testament to the healing power of genuine partnership and unconditional acceptance. Peter often stayed out of the public eye, but those who knew the couple described their relationship as deeply loving and mutually supportive. He understood Kim's need to speak her truth and never tried to soften her edges. Instead, he provided the safe harbor she needed to return to after each public battle. In June 2025, Kim Woodburn passed away at the age of 83 after a short illness. Her manager confirmed the news, sharing a statement that read, "It is with immense sadness that we let you know our beloved Kim Woodburn passed away yesterday following a short illness." The message continued, describing Kim as kind, charismatic, strong and loving, a woman who left behind a powerful legacy. Her death triggered an outpouring of tributes from fans, celebrities and former colleagues. Aggie Mackenzie, her co-star on How Clean Is Your House, said in a touching tribute, "Kim was a tormented soul, but now she's finally at peace. We clashed often. Behind the fierce persona was deep pain and incredible strength. She survived because she had to. I hope she's resting now. She was an unforgettable woman." Even those who had once clashed with her expressed their sadness. Singing duo Jedward, who appeared with her on Celebrity Big Brother, said, "Rest in peace, my lovely. You had our back when we got bullied in CBB, and we will never forget that. There will never be another Kim Woodburn." Producer Lee Smithurst recalled a charming moment from a 2018 shoot. Kim noticed a nearby school and said, "I'm a big hit with the primary kids, dear. Has anyone got a pen?" True to form, she walked over and chatted with the children like a rock star. Tributes flooded social media, with fans calling her a high camp icon, and a legend drag queens will be doing for eternity. Whether people loved her or didn't quite know what to make of her, no one could ignore her. She had that rare ability to stay completely and unapologetically herself. Kim Woodburn didn't just clean houses, she cleaned up television. She brought sparkle to screens, strength to survivors, and a voice to people who often felt overlooked. In a world where many personalities blend into one another, Kim stood out. She never softened her edges for the sake of comfort. That boldness, that refusal to back down, that's what made her so powerful. She lived a life that was raw, real, and at times deeply painful, but she never let that pain define her.
Instead, she used it. She shared her story, knowing that someone out there might need to hear that it's possible to rise above. She became a symbol of resilience. She showed that no matter where you come from, no matter what you've been through, you can still become something unforgettable. Her career spanned decades, but her impact will last even longer. Younger generations who never saw her shows still know her through viral clips and iconic quotes. She became a digital age legend, quoted by drag queens, comedians, and content creators alike. But behind all the memes and sass was a woman who wanted to help others, who wanted to be seen, and who wanted to matter. And she did. As we say goodbye to Kim Woodburn, we remember her not just as a cleaning expert or a TV personality, but as a woman who fought her way to the top and dared to stay true to herself. Her legacy isn't just in the episodes of How Clean Is Your House, or the clips from Big Brother. It's in every person who learned from her courage, who laughed at her lines, or who saw themselves in her struggles. In the end, Kim gave us something more than entertainment. She gave us honesty in a world that's often too afraid to be real. Her story reminds us to be bold, to be brave, and to never ever apologize for who we are. If Kim taught us anything, it's that life might be messy, but with strength, humor, and a good pair of gloves, we can face anything. Rest in peace, Kim. Your sparkle lives on.